Good morning. This morning we will be reading Psalm 78. Give ears, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we will hear and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from our children. Show to the generation to come the praises of the Lord and his strength and his wonderful work that he has done. For he established a testimony in Jacob, appointed a law in Israel, which he has commanded our father that they should make them known unto their children, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in God and not forget the work of God, but keep his commandments, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with God. The children of Ephraim, they armed and carrying bow, turned back in the day of battle. They kept not the covenant of God, and refused to walk in his law, and forget his works and his wonder that he has issued them. Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers, in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zion. He divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and he made the waters to stand as a heap. In the daytime also he led them with a cloud, and all the night with a light of fire. He cleaved the rock to the wilderness, and gave them drink out of the great deep. He brought streams also out of the rock, and caused the river to run down like river, and caused water to run down like river. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted God in their heart by asking meat for their lusts. Yea, they spake against God. They said, can God furnish a table in the wilderness? Behold, he smite the rock, and the water gush out, and the streams overflow. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for the people? Therefore the Lord heard this, and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in God, and trusted not in his salvation. Though he had commanded the clouds from above, and opened the doors of heaven, and have rained down manna upon them to eat, and have given them of the corn of the heavens. Man did eat angel food. He sent them meat to the full. He caused an east wind to blow in the heaven, and by his power he brought in the south wind. He rained flesh upon them as dust, and feathered fowl like as the sand of the sea. And he let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about their habitation. So they did eat and were filled, for he gave them their own desire. He gave them their own desire. They were not strangled from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouth, the wrath of God came upon them, and slew the fattest of them, and smote down the chosen men of Israel. For all this they sinned still, and believed not for his wondrous work. Therefore, their days did he consume in the vanity, and their years in trouble. When he slew them, then they wrought him, and they return and inquire early after God. And they remember that God was their rock, and the mighty God their Redeemer. Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth, and they lied upon him with their tongue, for their heart was not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. But he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yea, many a times turned he his anger away, and did not stir up all his wrath. For he remembered that they were but flesh, a wind that passeth away and cometh not again. How oft did they provoke him in the wilderness and grieve him in the desert? Yea, they turned back and tempted God and limited the Holy One of Israel. They remembered not his hand, nor the days when he delivered them from the enemy, how he had wrought his sign in Egypt and his wonders in the field of Zion, and has turned their river into blood, and their flood, and they could not drink. He sent divers sort of flies upon them, which devoured them, and frogs, which destroy them. He gave also their increase unto the caterpillars, and their labor unto the locusts. He destroyed their vines with hail, and their sycamore tree with frost. He gave up their cattle also to the hail, and their flocks to the hot thunderbolts. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and troubled by sending evil angels among them. He made a way to his anger. He spared not their soul from death, and but gave their lives over to the pestilence, and smote all the firstborn of Egypt, the chief of their strength, in the tabernacle of Ham. But made his own people to go forth like sheep, and guide them in the wilderness like a flock. And he led them on safely, so that they fared not, but the sea overwhelmed their enemies. And he brought them to the border of his sanctuary, even to this mountain which his right hand has purchased. He cast out the heathen also before them, and divided them an inheritance by their line, and made the tribe of Israel to dwell in their tents. Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High God, and kept not his testimonies, but turned back and dealt unfaithfully with their fathers. They were turned aside like a deceitful bow. For they provoke him to anger with their high places, and move him to jealousy with their graveness image. When God heard this, he was wrath, and greatly abhorred Israel, so that he forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tent which he placed among them, and delivered his strength into captivity, and his glory into the enemy's hand. He gave his people over unto the sword, and was wrath with his inheritance. The fire consumed their young men, and their maidens were not given to marriage. Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows made no lamentation. Then the Lord awakened as out of a sleep, and like a mighty man that shouted by reason of wine. And he smote his enemies in the hidden part, and he put them to a perpetual reproach. Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Joseph, and choose not the tribe of Ephraim, but choose the tribe of Judah, the Mount Zion which he loved. And he built his sanctuary like high places, like the earth which he had established forever. He chose David also his servant, and took from him the sheepfold, and took him from the sheepfolds, from following the yoke great with young. He brought him to feed Jacob the people, and Israel his inheritance. So he fed them according to his integrity of his heart, and guided them by the skillfulness of his hand. Here ends the reading of Psalm 78. And Psalm 78 is like the story of Israel, taken from Egypt, the whole passage through the Red Sea, the manna that they get, the guiding hand of God. And this is awesome. It's the whole story. So bless the Lord, oh my soul. I love this because I usually watch this 10 Commandments. Like every Easter, we watch it. And it is so awesome. Every time you watch it, you get something more from God, guidance of his people. Thank you for listening. Pick out the verse that is resonating with you today. There's always something when you read the word of God, something that will hit you, something that is there for you, something that you can tell somebody about. So this morning, Psalm 78 has something for you. Thank you for listening. And let us read Psalm 79 tomorrow. God bless you.